every moment you had the opportunity to choose again.
Yes, there's a beautiful work lesson that says, heaven is the decision I must make. And basically in that work lesson it says, heaven must take the form of a choice in order to be practical in this world. In other words, to a sleeping mind who the ego has invented choice. There's no choice in heaven because it's just oneness. There's nothing to choose between. You can't even have choice unless you have two. And so the ego is a belief that you can separate from God, and that duality has now taken the place of reality. So that's why in this realm, the word choice is introduced. And he's taking, when he says heaven is a choice that I must make, heaven really isn't a choice, but in this world it has to take the form of a choice. And that's what the atonement is. But you notice when Jesus said, your sole responsibility for the miracle worker and teacher of God is to accept the atonement. This is a choice that's unlike every choice in the world. All the choices of the world were made by the ego. It's a distractor device to stay out of that. But the atonement is a choice that's offered to you from the Holy Spirit. All the other choices are offered from the ego. And the Holy Spirit offers one choice that ends all the choices. It will be the last choice that you'll ever make. The very last. Because after this choice, there are no more choices. Now, what's the step between that last choice and where you perceive yourself now? Where you think there are many choices every day. Then that's where guidance comes in. That the Holy Spirit will give you instructions and give you guidance and lead you almost as if through a maze or a labyrinth where there are many, 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 many choice points in the maze and many choice points in the labyrinth, to the point where you come to the very outside of the labyrinth or maze and you take one more turn and you're gone. You're literally outside of the maze. So we emphasize guidance, we emphasize prayer, we emphasize joining because that is the way out. And though it may be said that peace of mind comes from the end of choice, which is true, the pathway to peace of mind seems to involve choice. So we don't deny choice. We don't go from the top down and say there is no world. If Jesus had just appeared 2,000 years ago and said there is no world, good afternoon, good evening, good night, it would have been a very brief stay. But he worked with the apostles on praying, and he worked with them on their minds and choosing, and so he worked very closely with them. And now we have this Course in Miracles, which uses an invention of the ego, choice, what the ego made, choice, but turning it to unwind the mind from the world. So he does say, of course, when you have learned to decide with God, all decisions become as easy and as right as breathing. And it will be as if you are carried down a quiet pathway in the summer. That's a very different view of choices and decisions than what we're accustomed to. Carried down a quiet pathway in summer? That sounds very gentle, it sounds very soothing, it sounds very easy. Before we're able to make that final decision that escapes the world, we have to learn to make choices with the Holy Spirit. Even if they be illusions, we still have to do it. We can't jump ahead and just say the world's an illusion. We have to experientially be taken by the Holy Spirit to that final choice. And then that choice is an acceptance. That choice is an acceptance.